Welcome to Lending Forward, a podcast where we're lending every bit of what we know to our listeners. From real conversations and lessons learned deep within the industry to education and forward thinking. Together, we're lending forward. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channels and connect with us on www.atlanticbay.com. Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, LLC, NMLS number 72043, NMLSconsumeraccess.org is an equal opportunity lender located at 600 Lynn Haven Parkway, Suite 203, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23452. Welcome to another episode of Lending Forward. I'm your host, Taylor Ellard, and joining me today is a familiar face to me, but not so much to our listeners. Welcome, Katie Hoffman-Folk. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Taylor. It's really good to be here. And of course, good to see a familiar face for you as well.
Yes, of course. Well, Katie, so tell us a little bit about you yourself. You have been in the industry for a while. You're with Homebot right now, and we know and love Homebot, and we'll get to that. But tell us kind of how you got here.
That's a great question, Taylor. So for me, yes, I've been in this account executive role here at Homebot for a little over a year now. And then prior to that, I was a customer success manager at Homebot and then did some other things in the industry. And really what led me to Homebot was, it wasn't specifically the mortgage industry. It was more the SaaS side of things and the software. I had worked for another SaaS company prior to that. And then eventually just found my way to Homebot, which has been a great company. And it's really easy whenever you actually believe in the product and you know that it's something that adds a lot of value. So I love it and love being here and just getting to meet great people like you and your listeners.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear your story a little bit. We know how important technology is right now. We lean into a lot of different products, whether it's your phone or it's your CRM or it's having some sort of tech tool to stay in front of folks. We know how important that is. So when it comes to Homebot, we know it as something that's the easiest way for you to kind of hands off, stay top of mind, and create financially well clients for life, right? We want to be that educator, that expert, and this is an amazing tool to do it. So before, it was kind of like, well, what SaaS products can we use? Whether there's so many out there, but not all of them are great. You know just as well as I do. You've been in the industry. You've talked to some of these amazing people in the industry. But I want to ask you, I guess, from a Homebot perspective, what would you say is a way to be dangerous with Homebot?
Ooh, I love that question and the way it's worded. A way to be dangerous with Homebot. So first of all, I just depending on, if anybody's heard of Homebot or not heard of Homebot, just to kind of clarify what Taylor said, she talked about the power of CRMs and things like that. We always like to point out that even though we have some of those functions of a CRM, we are not. We're what Taylor just mentioned, a client for life tool. And I think how to be dangerous with Homebot is, first of all, really understanding that perspective of that a client for life relationship. That's really how you're going to stand out in this business. We know that a third of Americans don't know their interest rate. Studies show that after, I think it's 14 months, like 80% of people completely forget who their lender is. And so I think the way to be dangerous with Homebot is really to use it as a tool to consistently add value and grow that relationship. Don't let it be just this static thing that works in the background, which it is. Learn how to go in and proactively use it to grow your partnerships with your agents. Use it as your proactive prospecting tool to stay in contact with those people in a very valuable way. And so being dangerous with it by just keeping your clients, finding more, and making sure you're the mortgage banker that is standing out to your clients throughout the whole life cycle of their homeownership process.
Absolutely. And it's 14 months and they just kind of forget you. It's crazy to me. And I can't even imagine working at a bank world and you just really not even knowing who handled all of this. So we're lucky enough to work at a local lender level where we're very hands-on. We are not transactional, which is what you were describing, kind of like a just to forget it kind of thing. And we try to use tools to make sure that we're staying on top of it for you and investing in our clients, right?
Exactly. And I think that, nothing at all against CRMs. They are incredibly important. It's not that. But where Homebot is different and where I think that creating that personal relationship is better. It's like, it's great to get that email once a year that says happy birthday, or that email that says, hey, a year ago you closed your loan, congratulations. But the thing with Homebot and building that relationship is really about providing that personalized value that says like, hey, did you know how much equity you had? If you have this much equity, let's talk about how you can use it. Here's some examples, and here's an easy way to reach out to me. So it really is just continuing that relationship and strengthening it with value, and just a resource that your clients can come back to.
For sure. Absolutely. And for those who don't know much about Homebot or the capabilities within Homebot, there are those two different sides to it. You've got your homeowner side and your buyer side. But Katie, tell us a little bit more about the realtor side. Why should an agent co-sponsor with a mortgage banker, have Homebot by itself? Obviously we want the first, not the latter, but tell us why it is important for agents to know about this.
Okay. So first of all, two different parts there. Really good question. We'll start like why Homebot for agents, and then we'll talk about why it's a no-brainer to be partnered with a loan officer or mortgage banker. So the first part is with why should agents use Homebot? It's really the same answer that it's going to be for a lender. And that's because it's going to give them that very consistent, personalized touch point that they can give to their client and their prospective buyers month after month, and make it very easy for their clients to reach out to them. So again, I think the statistic is a little longer there, but we know that people don't always remember their agents. And again, having that recipe on the refrigerator or whatever is amazing, but it's also very valuable to provide that personalized closing gift of Homebot so that their agents can stay in touch with them by providing a lot of value. Now, the answer to the second question there about why an agent should partner with a lender is because it basically just enhances the experience for the exact same cost to the agent. From there, they're going to be able to actually get into the buyer side of Homebot so that they can go in, they can grow those prospective relationships, and they can be connected directly to a lender through Homebot.
So it really is a no-brainer. Like the thing is, I think what the misconception is with a CRM is that that's going to manage folks' databases, when in fact, that's not the case at all. Most people don't even have drip set up. Like you said, it's the onesie twosie emails, which really don't provide a ton of value. Yeah, that was nice, but look at this digest that actually tells you what you can do with your equity in your home, how you can manage your finances. Maybe you've got sick and you have these medical bills. Well, did you know you can tap into your equity? It really is pouring into your people. And I said it before, it's investing in your clients. And I do think it's kind of an injustice right now. Housing Wire came out and they said that 2023 is the year of the skill set. Now, what better way to position yourself as the expert than without using this digest? I just can't even imagine. So I want to, for mortgage bankers who have this product already, Homebot, and they're using it, maybe they're dabbling in it, maybe they're really winning with it. Those who aren't, what should kind of lay out like a daily, a weekly, like mining your database through Homebot.
Okay, so
plan.
For somebody who is using it already, is that kind of, so we're talking about like how to take it from just this automated thing to something that you're proactively using. All right, so first of all, Homebot tries to make this super easy. So what we're going to do is once a week, you're going to get an email that gives you your top 5 to 10 most engaged clients. And so what I like to say, at the very least, if you're ready to start proactively engaging with Homebot, take that list, sit down with a cup of coffee and, you or your LOA, whoever you're with, go through it. And at the very least, call those 5 to 10 people. They're engaging in Homebot in some capacity. So just check in with them. And, this doesn't have to be like, I saw you were looking at your Homebot report and that you looked at it 3 times last week. And it doesn't have to be like that at all. It can just be like right now, Happy New Year. How are you liking your Homebot report? Are there any questions I can help answer? Just a very soft touch point that you're using. So I would say number one, really use that weekly email that we send. And then the second thing is if you're really wanting to dive in and say you have a goal of calling, 25, 50 clients each week, pull up that activity feed within your Homebot dashboard and look through there to find the people who have the top call to actions. So that's going to be a good way to narrow your focus there.
I love it. I think that's so important. And people, I think perhaps it's the fear of rejection, right? Like people are like, I don't want to call because I'm nervous. They're going to say something but really, I mean, if you come at it, not from what are you doing with your Homebot? More so, oh, wow, how are things going in your house that you closed on 7 years ago? You've had a baby since then. I looked at and by the way, look at their social media feed before you call them. Make sure you're connected with them. So that way you really have that warm conversation of, what's going on in their lives. I've cared enough to not only send you this digest, but also I've stalked your feed and I keep up with you. And so we're able to say like, oh, you've had another baby. Congratulations, or what have you. So I think that's like the biggest deterrent from people picking up the phone is they just don't know what to say, where please don't come off salesy. Let it be just a conversation. Incorporate, if you've done Ninja, incorporate your forward questions in there, right? Ask about their family, ask about their job, ask about their recreation, in their dreams. Having that conversation is just so important. And again, your goal is to make clients for life. And why not show your personality and try and extract some of theirs in a conversation? And then ask, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell?
Absolutely. That's a great, and if, referencing Ninja, like if you're following Ninja, then you're making calls anyway. And so this is just going to give you a pointed direction of who to call and who to check in with. And Taylor, as you mentioned, with this is the year of the skill set, those calls are the perfect place to kind of show what your skill set is. Like even without adding a lot of detail, you're able to point out the digest. You're able to show that you know what you're talking about with it, and then open yourself up to be that expert if they answer or if they ask any questions. I mean, I know nobody wants to be salesy and do cold calls and things like that. But personally, if somebody who I have a relationship with at all calls me, like I'm not going to hang up on them or be like, why are you calling me? It's going to be a welcome conversation because nobody's calling anymore. So I don't know. I think it's a nice touch for sure.
Stand out from the crowd. All right. So for those mortgage bankers who are trying to grow their wings and their database, what are some ways to get those agents co-branding with you? And then I think so, sometimes mortgage bankers, they go and they present these amazing, beautiful, shiny objects and the agents are all, yes, let's do it. And then for some reason, somewhere along the way, whether it was in the follow-up, I don't know, but how do we get mortgage bankers to go out, pitch it, and then have the agents in turn update their database?
Right. So that is definitely a top concern, getting agents to engage and getting them partnered. And again, you'll hear me say this time and time again, regardless of who you're working with, whether it's your clients or your agents, it's all about providing value. And so one of the most effective ways I've seen with mortgage bankers partnering with agents are those lunch and learns, or maybe a breakfast where, the mortgage banker says, hey, this will only take 45 minutes. Start your day with a cup of coffee and bagels. Come by the office. Let's hop on Zoom. Coffee's on me, whatever. Hear about Homebot. It's this great, very affordable tool that's going to help you grow your business and keep the clients you already have. So that's a great way to get people to show up. Now, as far as getting people to upload their clients, I've also seen a couple of things that are helpful here. The first one, there are some very motivated agents who are able to just get it in really quickly. But if that's not the case, then a couple of best strategies here. One would be, again, kind of same concept. Maybe it's a 2-part lunch and learn where the first part's a demo of Homebot. And if people are ready to sign up, then have the mortgage banker actually sit down with their new agent partner and walk them through getting that initial upload in. And then the second thing would be some sort of incentive, excuse me, like the mortgage banker offers some sort of like gift card, like maybe it's a contest. The first person to upload their database gets a $25 Amazon gift card or something nominal like that, so it's nothing over the top, but just a little healthy competition to get your agents to upload their clients.
Right. Right. What you're going to see from the mortgage banker side, that success, the agents will also see. And it is every bit of the fact that a client can request a CMA straight from the digest. I mean, what better way to pair up with your agents than to send them a lead? That's just huge. Well, tell us how Homebot and you are lending forward for 2023.
How are we lending forward for 2023? I love that. That's a great tie-in there. So I think very relevant to the market right now when we think about the fact that loans are certainly happening. They are certainly happening, but it's at a slower pace than we were at 2 years ago or whatever it is. I think the fact that the title here is lending forward. Homebot is preparing you right now to be that go-to expert and that go-to loan officer in the future, probably the near future, whenever those rates start to drop, because right now we're putting in the hard work. I like to think of it as we're sowing the seeds for our future clients. And so if we're starting right now, we are essentially lending ourselves forward right now so that in the near future, our business can just skyrocket. And Homebot is a great way to help lenders do that right now.
Very well said. Well, thank you for being on here, Katie. We
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, Taylor. I love Atlantic Bay and so glad to talk about Homebot anytime.
Thanks again for listening to the Lending Forward podcast powered by Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Don't forget to tune in next week and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Remember, we all play a part in lending forward. So go lend something forward today.